Hi ladies, this is our Claude Monet demonstration for distance learning. As you can see, I've got a selection of textas, crayons, a green pencil, and I even found a bit of watercolour. So pretty much you just find whatever you've got around the house and you've already picked an inspiration image, or you can use the one that I'm using. So we're going to start off by marking out where the water lilies are on my page. So just some general circles of where I'm going to put Monet's water lilies. And there'll be a flower here and here. So sketching out our composition. Now it doesn't have to be exactly like this. Just a couple of green water lilies to the side. Then we're going to start building up the blue of the water. And I'd love for you to have a selection of blues, so dark blues and light blues, because that will give you some nice variation. I'm going to start building up the blue of the water. And I'm going to go around the water lilies, because the water lilies will be green. Varying how hard I'm pressing down, and I'm looking at the direction of the water. And then I can see down here it's quite dark, so I might swap to an even darker blue. And these are just my daughter's crayons. So they don't have to be fancy. If you have oil pastels, you can use oil pastels. Let me just check it's recording good. But if you don't, you can just use any crayons or pencils you have, anything you have at home. Building up the blue, pressing a little bit harder down here. Then up in this top corner, I can see that there's a little bit of mauve and purple. So Monet's water lilies are not just one blue, they have lots of different colours reflecting the sky and the flowers, and he's capturing the light hitting the water. So down here you can see there's some green and yellow, so I might even put a little bit of yellow down here as if the sun is reflecting off the water. And here we've got the yellow of the flowers. I'll pop a bit of yellow in there too. And it doesn't have to be a realistic representation. It can be a little bit more expressive and suggestive. So building up the blues. And all you're doing today is focusing on building up all the blues of the water and all those lovely reflections. And next lesson we'll work on the lily pads. So we're going to leave these lily pads white, blank, and we will do that next lesson. Today is all about building up water reflections. So hopefully you've got quite a few different types of blue at home. And you can see I've got crayons. I might even see how some textas go, how a texta's going to go. Okay, that looks quite nice. And I love how the texture is not sitting on the crayon very well, but it's getting a really nice effect. So we can experiment a little bit, building up all the different blues of the water. So if you can see a bit of green, you can swap over and put a little bit of green in the water. And that's a nice earthy, muddy, pondy green. So we'd have lots of variations in my water. Green, light blue, dark blue, cool blue, warm blue, reflecting all the different types of light and movement in the pond. As I build up all the different blues around the lily pads, These circles are becoming a little bit more prominent through contrast. I'll put a little bit more mauve up here. So I've got texta, I've got crayon. Here I've got a green pencil. And put some more of the green pencil down around here. And that green pencil actually is going to be really lovely for when we do the lily pads a little bit later. A bit more mauve. I like that, this mauve purpley corner. I'm going to really build that up and push that purple. And the purple is coming into this nice cool blue, and we could even call this blue a type of cerulean blue. And I'm moving with the direction of the water. And that blue and yellow is mixing really, really nicely to make that pond green. And here it's almost like I've got the reflection of the sky in this corner, and where it gets a little bit darker, it's like the deeper part of the pond, the deep water. So I'm going to swap back over to a dark blue for this corner. Trying to capture reflections. So we're doing colour mixing and thinking about our colour theory from term 2 about warms and cools. So I've got cool warms. Oh, look how deep it is over that muddy pondy blue. So the crayon is going over the texta much better than the texta goes over the crayon. But you're experimenting here. Here's a different blue, let's see. Oh, that's very similar to the other one. I can move that in. So we're building up all the reflections. All right, ladies, I'm going to keep on building this up, and you are too. Good luck. Oh, actually here, if you have any watercolour at home, I found a little bit of blue watercolour. You can stain and you can do the whole thing in watercolour if you've got a watercolour set, but if not, you can just use crayons. And there we go. So it's fighting the crayon, but I really like the effect. So if you have some watercolours, have a go at including a bit of watercolour. If not, don't worry, it's optional. And if you don't have crayons at home, you can use pencils or textas. So your whole page is going to be covered in blue, different types of blues. And next lesson we'll be working on the water lilies. Oh, I really like that. Look at that, how the watercolour is sitting over the crayon. It's making the little bits of crayon look like reflections of sunlight. I really like that. What a successful experiment. All right, ladies. Now it's time to have some fun.